business brain of Ukraine. Today's business brain of Ukraine is Mykhailo Merkulov, CEO of Arricano Real Estate, one of the market leaders in the Ukrainian retail real estate sector. Arricano has built 6 malls in Ukraine with a 7th currently under construction. This expansion comes with Ukrainian retail spending enjoying a period of prolonged growth. But is this growth sustainable? Mykhailo, thank you very much for joining us. It's a pleasure to see you.
Peter, thanks for inviting.
To begin with, tell me what excites you the most about the Ukrainian retail industry today?
Well, Peter, of course, I could tell you about the figures that we are reaching, that we are growing double-digit in dollars for 3rd consecutive year. But this is not the thing that is most exciting for me, because this is something attributed to the past efforts. And in order to grow 20% every year, we need to look for something which is ahead, what we are doing this year or next year. And what is exciting in our industry now is the transformation and transition. This is what I like most. Because retail real estate is a pretty old-fashioned and old business model. Why? Because for 2,000 years, the business model was like this. You are building the shopping mall, you rent it out, and you forget about it. You just administer it. And now, with e-commerce disrupting the retail sales, with entertainment changing to AR and VR, we think what will be the next big thing in real estate. And what is happening now, it's not really obvious for most of the consumers, but it is happening. What is happening is that retailers are becoming more niche players, finding their smaller target audience and trying to make better relationship with them, trying to communicate with them, trying to reach them via the channels which target audience is using, not only big boards and radio, but YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, whatever the audience is using. And this is a tremendous shift in the traditional work of retailers and shopping malls. Retailers become more technological. They use digital channels. And that, to my mind, that pays back because it's better understanding, it's better penetration, and it helps them to improve their product, which they sell in the end of the day in store, in offline store, rather than online, although online is also growing.
And what are the major obstacles here as this transformation is taking place? What are the barriers you're encountering?
As in every change, the obstacle is an uneven pace of this transformation. Some of the players are really advanced, especially those who trade electronics. They are on the internet, they are on YouTube, they are everywhere where the technological audience is. At the same time, if we take the clothes retailers, some of them are really behind, and the bigger the brand is, the more behind they are, because it's difficult to transform the bigger company, of course. And to me, the big surprise is that biggest players, they don't have loyalty programs, or they still don't have e-commerce sales in Ukraine. I speak about big international players. Mm-hmm. I love them. I don't want to mention their names here, but everybody knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is surprising, because if you don't have the loyalty program for your consumers, it means that you are not getting the data from them. It means that you are not communicating with them, other than with the advertising, which is not the best level of two-way communication.
No dialogue, you mean? No direct dialogue?
Absolutely. And this is the way nowhere. At the same time, we have new players who are coming from online to offline. For example, a small brand has over 100,000 consumers and followers in online. And once they open an offline store here, they have a line of 50 people standing. So this is something that we see only when H&M is opening.
Because they've built up their audience online already, so that there is a demand to come and actually have a physical interaction with the brand.
Yeah, so that's an issue. And why the uneven technological progress is the problem for us? Because we are developing shopping centers and we try to transform these shopping centers into the ecosystem of the mall operator, retailers, and consumers. And the bigger and bigger role is devoted to data. Consumers have a lot of data, a lot of needs. I need quite a lot of stuff. And if those who try to sell something to me, they don't have this data, they don't have these preferences, they cannot offer something really tailored and personalized for me. So can we imagine the moment when I, as a user, as a consumer, can have quick access to all the data about all the goods which the shopping mall has? That would be fantastic. Immediately I can search for goods faster, not just walking around 100 stores. I can select the goods faster. I can see the opinions, the ratings, the feedback. I can combine the complete look out of the goods in the shopping center. That's actually my dream, to have a moment when we could offer a better product to all our shoppers. And we have, in this shopping mall, we have 1.5 million shoppers per month, which is a tremendous figure. And I want to give them the quality of and the comfort of the product like Amazon or Google can offer online. So I want to offer that offline.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the consumers. How are Ukrainian society in general is changing at a fairly rapid rate. How are consumer habits changing? How are you seeing the consumers changing the way they relate to retail?
Answering that question, I would like to ruin one myth.
Okay.
We all say that Ukraine is 5 years behind Europe. I would say that may be true and not true.
Okay.
True in respect that, yeah, maybe economically, maybe in some rural areas, technologically, yes. But if we speak about consumers, that's totally different. In Ukraine, because of the economic situation, about 20% of consumers are consuming 70 or 80% of goods and services. Mm-hmm. And those 20% of consumers, they are very technological. They all have smartphones, latest models. They all have been abroad. They all are social. So they use Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, other social network. They buy online, and they behave absolutely the same as the audience abroad. Yeah. So what do we have here? We have the fact that 70 and 80% of Ukrainian products and services are consumed the same way as they are consumed abroad. So this means that we should be so advanced in the product offering as our colleagues in Europe or in America. So that's the phenomenon. We have now to bridge this gap, this technological gap, and really be much advanced with the product.
And this is where we are today. This is the vision that you have of the retail industry as we stand today. Where do you think it will be in 10 years' time? Where's Ukraine going? Is it in a position where it can actually leapfrog and overtake some of the other Central European markets?
That's a tricky question, which can actually trigger a lot of fantasies. So you can go to extremes, like Ray Kurzweil, who is the biggest futurist and now working for Google, who says that in 10 years, you will not be buying something in the store. You will just receive the file from the designer, and your home 3D printer will print the clothes for you. Yeah, okay. He is quite sure about that, and I would not say that it's not going to be like this. However, what we understand already, that shopping malls would be completely different from what you see right now. For one and the only reason, already now you can buy whatever you want in internet without probably doing manicure. But the goods and services which are in the shopping mall can be delivered online. So in 10 years, we can imagine there will be no slightest reason to go to the shopping mall to physically buy something, because producers are dreaming about direct-to-consumer delivery. E-commerce is dreaming of putting us out of business. So our big spaces, shopping malls, will be transformed into social engagement spaces. So we will be less selling stuff, but we will be more engaging people into meaningful activities full of sense, socializing, and we are working on those senses, what we will be doing to attract the people. And people will be giving quite a lot of data. So what I'm fantasizing now is that shopping malls will be a data-driven business based on consumer needs, who will be gathered in this space based on their niche interests and different kinds of engagement.
So rather than a shopping mall, it'll be a lifestyle hub.
Absolutely.
Or something
Absolutely.
along those lines. Okay. Now, a common theme for Ukrainian businesses operating in Ukraine is finance, the ability to attract finance. How challenging is that now for yourself as your business continues to grow? How difficult it is, do you find, to get access to the finance you need to support growth?
That's usually a challenge for Ukrainian companies for the very reason that Ukraine is a special territory which investors are quite cautious about. Second, as we are operating in real estate, and real estate for a number of years is a red flag for most of the banks. We are able to attract financing, and we're quite successful in that, but only due to several facts. First of all, we are an AIM-listed company in London, and this creates some credibility. Second, we have a good track record of the management team, which is able to grow revenues with double-digit figures over 3 years in a row, and is able to adequately answer all the outside challenges, economical challenges, political challenges, and other challenges. But also, what is important is a long-term relationship with the financing institutions. For example, we are working with EBRD for 10 years. Yeah, and our relationship are quite good for this period of time. So they are not afraid to finance us further. And what I found out recently on the Ukrainian Investment Roadshow in London last week, that one more thing comes in play here. Not only the fact that you are listed, not only the fact that you are audited, not only the track record with the banks, but also the corporate governance. Mm-hmm. Because we all know the stories when listed companies, well audited, were big failures. And the reason was that the corporate governance issue was not duly managed in the company. So this is now a big imperative from many of the regulators. And also we see that the stock exchange is also putting quite a lot of pressure on companies to ensure that corporate governance is in place. So my expectation is that for next several years, that will be a key topic in telling the credible story to the investors, showing that the corporate governance procedures in the company are in place and are preventing company from doing anything wrong that could undermine the investors' trust.
Create a confidence.
Absolutely.
Corporate confidence. Okay. And finally, a key question as someone who manages a major retail business here, what would be your advice to international investors who are considering entering the Ukrainian market? What would be your key snippet to say, okay, this is what you need to be most aware of before you enter the Ukraine market?
If I would be telling that you should do the proper legal due diligence or proper financial due diligence, this would be not anything really new.
True.
What I would say from my experience is that Ukraine is the high-risk, high-return market, full of opportunities. But opportunities are not evenly dispersed in the Ukrainian corporate landscape. So you need to treat Ukraine as the startup business, first of all. And the due diligence should be done as you do it with a startup. So it should be based on trust, it should be based on team, and it should be based on the gut feeling, whether you are ready to invest in this company, in these people, whether you trust them, and be ready that as any startup, it can fail. But if it doesn't fail, if you take the right opportunity, if you deal with right people, and you really have a trust, yeah, then it can bring really high return, and we have a lot of examples of that.
Okay, Startup Nation, yeah, in other words. Okay, thank you very much, Mykhailo. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you. Business Brain of Ukraine.